Welcome to the Conscious Union podcast. I'm your host Prem Shakti. In this space, we dive into the world of conscious spiritual weddings, exploring transformative journeys of couples and the wisdom of celebrants from all around the world. Join me as we explore relationships as a path of healing and conscious evolution, sharing inspiring stories and insights that help us recalibrate marriage and deepen our experience of love. Hi, so I'm meeting Aisha after 2 months. She got married to Adam in Oroville by the beach in a very beautiful place. Exactly 2 months ago, actually. So I'm so happy to meet you in person and just find out a little bit more about the journey of the whole experience that you had there at the wedding and also after. What really inspired you and Adam to have a different unconventional wedding? I call it conscious wedding, but I know that you had also a traditional one. So if you would like to express a little bit more about that.
So Adam and I actually had two different weddings. One was the Indian Sikh wedding, which was a very traditional one. And that happened in Delhi a week before the exchange of vows. And the exchange of vows ceremony was something that I really wanted to have because it's something I imagined since I was a little girl, you know, that I'll be wearing a white dress and I'll do the exchange of vows. And for me, that's really what solidified the wedding, you know, just sharing those words with each other, those commitments with each other. But we did not want it to become overly religious or overly traditional. We did want certain traditional elements. I mean, I also grew up in Oroville. It's a spiritual community. I practice meditation and conscious awareness, and I really wanted that kind of energy to be there at the time of our union. So we incorporated a few other elements which were more spiritual, you could say, thanks to your guidance and advice.
I'm curious, what was your favorite element of the whole ceremony? What really touched your heart?
I think for me the favorite part, to be honest, was when Adam read his vows, because it was something that I had not heard yet. You know, of course I'd imagined what he might say, but it went way beyond my expectations or imaginations of what he would say. It was so beautifully written and so just powerful. It really touched me. Yeah.
And did it take you some time to work on your vows? Did you have any guidance, or it was just...
Honestly, I wrote my vows sitting in my living room on the couch. And I thought, I'll probably go through multiple revisions. So I felt in that moment when I was sitting on my couch that, hey, this is when I should be, writing my vows down. There's some sort of intuition came to me. And I just started writing and it just flowed. It flowed like so easily. Within 10 minutes, everything was written. And then I was like, oh, but it's too easy. I need to rewrite it. So then I shared it with a couple of people, do you think it's good enough? And everyone was like, wow, it's so amazing. It's so beautiful. No. And I thought about it, and I really actually didn't really want to change much to it because it really all felt right. And I've been thinking about it for so many years. We've been together for now on and off since 20 years and steady since 10 years. So you can imagine there's just been, we always sort of wanted to get married, but it was more about the timing, when, where, all of that. So the vows were always, I think, in my heart, slowly building through time. And so when it came the moment to write them, they just flowed.
So I'm just wondering, in these interesting ages when humanity is doubting the marriage a lot, and some people choose never to get married, and you mentioned that you and Adam were together for 10 years, assuming that you lived together. What has changed for you? Do you feel like there is a difference before and after?
Yeah, so your first point about humanity being more skeptical of marriage and settling down with a person, even having children, I did notice that a lot. I think it's because people struggle in the world. There's so many challenges that are happening globally around the world and why they're happening. And I think it causes a lot of doubt on whether they even want to build a family and have children and all of those things. But it's something that Adam and I always knew we wanted. We just always envisioned it together. And I'm very grateful for that. Second question was, has anything changed? It did change, although, before really going through with the vows or anything, I didn't think anything would change. But what changed was that there's more a sense of security, I think, and more sense of groundedness. That, okay, now we are a unit. We've said it out loud to ourselves, to the people, to the society, whatever it is. But it just feels even the ability to say, hey, this is my husband, not my fiance or my boyfriend, my husband. Like, it has weight to it. So I really love that. That is what I think has changed. Yeah.
What I really liked about your ceremony, your wish was to incorporate this community kind of acknowledgement and support. So I really liked that the whole thing was we asked your guests whether they will say we do support you when you are in times of darkness and times of doubt, and it was just so beautiful to actually have everybody involved in making this work. And I wonder, did you feel like connection amongst the guests that have come, and did you feel their presence with that particular part that you've curated?
Yeah, when you asked that question, I was like, looking around like, oh God, I hope everyone's cool with this. Obviously everyone is going to be cool with it. But when they said it, you feel even more loved, you feel even more like, okay, yes, they've acknowledged it. And what I liked was that it was sort of unexpected, I even kind of forgot that you were going to ask that. And it kind of brought people back, snapped into the moment. Because it's so easy in these sort of ceremonies to lose your focus and attention, and we were doing a conscious ceremony, so it's about people bringing them into the conscious awareness and really acknowledging that their presence matters. I think you mentioned that, and so what's the point of getting married? It's about being able to say it, yes, for yourself, but also for all the people who are there, and to include them and to acknowledge that they've had a beautiful impact in your lives.
Did anyone of your guests have shared that this kind of ceremony impacted them, brought up some feelings for them? Did you notice?
Yes, a lot of people said, wow, that was one of the most beautiful, or that was the most beautiful wedding I've ever been to. They liked everything from the decorations to the thoughtfulness of it, all the images, but people didn't go into details, which is fine, and I don't think, I think it was just the overall experience for them. Obviously, me, as being so involved in the wedding, thinking of every element, I'm like, but didn't you like the pictures, or didn't you like that little, that thing we said? Because I want that acknowledgement somewhere, because I planned the whole thing. But no, I think they were in the moment, they weren't thinking of it from the, oh, she must have had to organize that or organize this, or they just enjoyed the entire flow.
I was personally really touched because, as person who is so intimately there in that little bubble of love that you and Adam have created, plus your support system, your closest loved ones, I felt so touched to see the entire line of the men crying, starting with Adam and the men that were behind him. And I just felt like love was overflowing. So for me, that was the most touching moment of the whole ceremony. To feel this really heart opening of the masculine.
Yeah, that's what I love about Adam. He's a very open and vulnerable, emotional, romantic person. So he shares his feelings. He's very vocal and communicative. He's not closed up, like some men often I've experienced. I mean, I've seen a lot of men are scared to share their feelings. So, and I think probably Adam started it, and then all the boys around him that, they were like, oh my God, he's crying. I'm going to cry too. Yeah.
What would you advise people like yourself who are thinking of unconventional wedding, and I've noticed a lot of young people who are planning for something extraordinary, they really worry about their family and they're like, will people be happy? Will people fit in? You know, is that okay for me to go over the edge and do something unusual? Do you have any advices for the couples who are preparing for conscious weddings?
I think, okay, so I think it's totally natural to be aware about your family and the people who are there. And I think especially in the beginning stages when you just begin to plan your wedding, you're not thinking about yourself, at least in my experience. I was only thinking, oh, what do other people want? Will they approve of this venue? Will they approve of this ceremony? Will they approve of this dress, But then a lot of people told me, this is not something you're doing for anyone else. This is something you're doing for you and your partner. And the people who are around you, they're supportive of you and your partner. That's why they're there. No, and also that made me really think about the people that I invited and recognize that some people who aren't really there for me and him, like, why am I inviting them? Like, really think about that. And someone gave the advice of who invite guests, only guests that you would actually invite to a lunch or something like that, like a dinner party or a lunch that you'd actually want to spend time with. Because sometimes you're just like, oh, but that person's wife who I've never met, all this starts to come up. So you really start consciously thinking about who's there and their energy and what they're giving to the ceremony. And of course, family members, sometimes they can be really traditional or conservative. So maybe not doing anything that would upset them specifically, or that would really shock them. But you can still make it your own. You can still add elements that are your own. What Adam and I did was we had a traditional format of a vow exchange. Many elements were, traditional, but we added some things that made it spiritual. We had the meditation in the beginning to bring everyone into the present moment, which you conducted very beautifully. And then we also had this mixing of the sands. Yeah. You had suggested bringing some sand from Red Earth, which is beautiful because Red Earth Riding School is the place where Adam and I met. So we decided bring some sand from there and some sand from the beach, which is the venue where we were getting married, and mixing those two soils together. And I still have that in my living room, and it's so nice because it's a little memento, and it was a very conscious thing. Like, as we were pouring the sands, we were really in the moment and feeling it and pouring our energy. I think those little elements you can always add, that are your own. And those can be spiritual. There's not like one definition to what spirituality is. To me, it's just about being conscious, aware, present, and make it your own. You don't have to follow necessarily only the traditional format.
Thank you.
I think also I just want to say thank you for being very patient. I think prior to getting married, there are moments where we were so stressed out because we had so much planning to do and so many things to figure out. And you just were so understanding throughout and helped us focus on what we really wanted to focus on. So yeah, you were an amazing guide throughout, and you did such an incredible job at the ceremony, and it's something I'll never forget. And I'll never forget you and everything you've done for us. So thank you.
Thank you. For me, it was very beautiful to actually support you prior, because I can imagine how stressful the events are. I've conducted lots of events, and I know that, like, before the final day, there's so many things that are still needing closing, and they can be really, really stressful. So therefore, I was really happy that I could be there for you and be that anchor in those times. And I mean, this is what conscious relating is, to bring ourselves back into the presence, back to the moment, and know how to re-anchor. So I was glad.
I think what was really nice was that you weren't telling us you have to do this kind of conscious wedding. You allowed us to share what we felt we wanted to do. You shared ideas, and we extrapolated certain ideas from you. But it wasn't that we had to do exactly, like, for example, we were concerned about doing the dance with the whole everyone getting up and dancing during the ceremony, because for us, we were like, maybe some older, family members may be confused or something. So we just wanted to do certain elements. So I think that's another advice I'd give to other couples, that, just because it's a conscious wedding or a spiritual wedding, you don't have to follow any rules. even the rules of a spiritual wedding, you know, or the traditional wedding. It's up to you. And so it's up to you what you define. And what you can do so beautifully is to support the couple to figure out what that means for them.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
For me also, you know, that's such a beautiful empowering initiation, because I've worked a lot with couples who are pregnant and planning for the birth. And you know, that's the first thing I would tell them. You'll be the producers, directors and actors in your play. Don't forget. You know, you can actually design it and you can narrate it, and it's your play, you know. So I'm glad that you already had that initiation.
Yeah.
So when the another big threshold comes, you'll be ready.
I think it's just about communicating with you, like not forgetting that it's okay to be like, I don't want to do this, or I want to do this, or can we do this, you know? So just remembering it's your ceremony, no one else's. It's not your parents, it's not your officiators, it's not your friends, it's yours. So design it as what feels right to you. Yeah.
So happy for you. Thank you for sharing.